Straight from Born of the Gods, Xenagos, God of Revels. For 3, a red and a green, he's a 6/5 indestructible legendary enchantment creature, God. As long as your devotion to red and green is less than 7, Xenagos is not a creature. At the beginning of combat on your turn, another target creature you control gains haste and gets +X/+X until end of turn, where X is that creature's power. 6/5 body. This is Xenagos Commander deck, folks. I'm going to walk you through an EDH deck tech of Xenagos, God of Revels. We know who our general is. He's right here. And for me, I try to get this baby out as quickly as I can so I can start sending some great big uglies all over the table. So let's take a look. Go through my Xenagos Commander deck and let's see what we have here. So we're going to start off with 11 basic mountains. Okay, and then we're going to start off after that. We're going right for the basic forests. 11 basic forests. You're going to notice some great patterns here whenever I do a deck tech, as I am very, very much a subscriber and a fan of symmetry. All right, so those are our basics, 22 basics, not too bad for a Gruul, 2-color deck. Now we're going to get into some of the non-basic lands that we have here. And we're going to start with the Gaea's Cradle. Now, I get the fact that this is quite a pricey card. I've had this card for many, many moons, and I can promise you there were many days where it wasn't even close to this price. This card is not an integral piece of this commander deck. It is helpful to have and can be easily supplemented with a Growing Rights of Itlimoc. So we have the Gaea's Cradle, Command Tower, of course, Stomping Ground, Aspire Garden. Thank you, Battle Bond, for that great set of commander lands. Rootbound Crag, Raging Ravine, Descender Glade, the Carplusian Forest, Fungal Reaches. I really enjoy getting a Fungal Reaches in my opening hand. I like to get that out onto the table early, build up some storage counters, and then just let it sit there until I need it. Firelit Thicket, Mossfire Valley, going all the way back to Odyssey for this card. And those are our dual lands, aside from the Gaea's Cradle, of course. And here we have some non-basic colorless lands. Here we have an Inkmoth Nexus. It's nice to have this in the battlefield if you're trying to play a little bit of control. Flying around with an Infector that can be enabled by Xenagos is a nice ability to have. Mystifying Maze helps to keep you attacked free, at least for one creature per turn, per your defending turn, of course. Rogue's Passage, the Kessig Wolf Run, the Homeward Path. This is for all those blue mages out there. The standard staple of the Reliquary Tower, an Ancient Tomb. This was a recent addition that I picked up from Ultimate Masters, as you can tell. And a Temple of the False God. That is 40 total lands. Pretty sure it's 40. Let's just make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 41 total lands I got here. Okay. So some mana rocks and spells to get you going here with the mana. The Rampin'. Talking about the Rampin'. 41 lands right there. Standard inclusion of the Soul Ring. Gruul Signet. A Thought Vessel. Thran Dynamo. A Gilded Lotus. A Cultivate. A Kodama's Reach. Pretty standard here for anything green. Attempt with Discovery. This card early on worked very well, but as the tempting offers became a little more frequent, players in my playgroup have begun to wisen up to no longer search their library. So this has devolved into a spell that costs a total of 4 to grab 1 land from my deck. So this may be on the brink of coming out. And a Mana Geyser. Okay, so with that in mind, we got the lands, and we got our artifact ramp. Now, let's take a look at the creatures. What creatures are we bringing out here? All right, so we're going back to Battlebond here with the Bramble Sovereign. Urabrask. Haste for me is such an underrated mechanic in Commander, and Urabrask pulls that off very well. And the second ability of the creatures coming into play tapped at your opponent's control, that's a nice benefit too. Malignus. A very early Malignus enabled by Xenagos could be lights out for any one of your opponents. And how about this baby? You get the Hydra Omnivore out there, give it haste and +8/+8. Stalking Vengeance. The Avenger of Zendikar. Siege Behemoth. It grants any creature you control the ability of a Thorn Elemental or a Rocks. Chancellor of the Forge. And I tell you, I do not mind having this in my opening hand and getting a nice 1/1 Hasty Goblin in play to start things off. I do not mind that at all. And this is often a target for some later spells that you'll get to see in a little while. The Archetype of Endurance. It's nice to protect your creatures, giving them hexproof, especially if our main strategy is to beat down with some fatties. We got to have some kind of protection for them. Your standard green Terastodon. Hellkite Charger. You're going to notice a little bit of a dragon theme here, because now we're going to move into the evasion part of our creatures. Okay, so we got your Hellkite Charger. The Scourge of the Throne. Boy, is this guy an amazing, amazing guy to have on the battlefield with Xenagos, as long as you have, if you are not the one that has the most life. Enable Xenagos ability twice, you're going to be at the end attacking with at least a 21 or a 22/22. Actually, I did the math wrong on that. I think that's going to be like a 26/26. Let's see here. Attacks with the player gets a +1/+1. So she's going to start off with 10. Gets to 1 for 11. Untap. And then 20. Yeah, about 22. Okay. Hellkite Tyrant. That's for all those sinful big artifact players. Moonveil Dragon. The Rapacious one, getting him out early and getting all those nice sacrificial Eldrazi spawn creature tokens. Love it. Love every part of it. Carnage Tyrant. Pathbreaker Ibex. This kind of acts as a light Craterhoof Behemoth. Light on the wallet, that's for sure. Molgraph Monstrosity. Atarka the World Render. A Stonehoof Chieftain. I can't understand why this guy is not more popular. Look at what he does. An 8/8 for 8, trample and indestructible. And whenever another creature you control attacks, it gains trample and indestructible until end of turn. I just don't know why this guy is not more popular. Living Hive. Here's one of the benefits of having a Gaia's Cradle or a land like Gaia's Cradle. The Uvara Hellkite. There's the Craterhoof. Woodfall Primus. The World Spine Worm. And the Blightsteel Colossus. This is, for me, just a deterrent against any potential infinite combo players or overly zealous blue mages, just to restore some balance. And this is also for anyone who's being too much of a bully at the battlefield. Okay. All right, those are the creatures. Now let's get to the support cards. And then we're going to take this deck for a quick spin and see how it looks. Summoner's Pact brings us a green creature card right to our hand. Just don't forget this. Did it before. Can't believe I did it. Yep, it's not, I'm not exaggerating. Forgot to pay that. Got through to my draw step. Played a land. Lost the game. Unbelievable. Okay. Cream of the crop. I like this card. This acts for me as a nice kind of scry mechanic. Temporal Aperture. Tap 5, tap this, shuffle your library, reveal the top card. Until end of turn, as long as that card remains on top of your library, you may play that card as though it were in your hand without paying its mana cost. Let that sink in for a moment. So you're casting 2 to get this onto the battlefield. You're tapping 5, you're shuffling your library. You reveal the top card. You may play that card as though it were in your hand without paying its mana cost. So as long as you're landing on something that's more than 5, and we saw already there's a lot of spells that cost more than 5 in this deck, you are going to hit the jackpot there. Quicksilver Amulet, Sneak Attack, Cauldron of Souls, which is a great interaction here. Sneak them in, play, they sacrifice, give them persist before they go to the graveyard, and get them back on the battlefield. Selvala Stampede. We have a lot of spells on this deck to try to cheat our fatties out as quickly as we possibly can without paying their exorbitant mana costs. Summoning Trap, Tooth and Nail. Resolving a Tooth and Nail, if you have a Xenagos in play, even if you don't have a Xenagos in play, you can be creative with the creatures you get. It's generally lights out. Genesis Wave. Again, you could see the benefit of having a Gaia's Cradle or Gaia's Cradle-like land, Court of Calling. Nothing like dropping a big old Court of Calling at end step, untapping, and then slamming someone right down someone else's throat. And here we're going to get into some removal with Beast Within, a Krosan Grip, the wonderful 4-for-1 Decimate, Chandra's Ignition. Target creature you control deals damage to its power to each other creature and each opponent. Let me tell you, there is nothing more satisfying than getting to your second main phase after attacking with the Xenagos-enabled fatty and then casting Chandra's Ignition. Star of Extinction helps to clear the battlefield. Blasphemous Act. Comet Storm. Altar of Dementia is in here as a sacrifice outlet in case someone tries to steal one of your buddies out there, one of your creatures. I have milled people with this card. Another sacrifice outlet. This one is a lot more effective for you, drawing some cards equal to the creature's power than only discarding 3 cards. You've seen some of the power of these creatures. Getting them into the graveyard to draw those many cards is wonderful. Berserk could act as a finisher, or in other ways it could act as a destroying a creature that an opponent controls. And I'll tell you, flashing in a Dictate of the Twin Gods with an enabled Xenagos creature on the battlefield, oh boy, that's lights out, folks. And the gratuitous violence. This is the Xenagos God of Revels deck tech. So let's take a quick look at how an opening hand might look with this deck. All right, here we go. Let's take this for a spin. Do a quick shuffle just to keep everything on the up and up here. Now again, like I said earlier in the video, for me, I like to get Xenagos out as quickly as possible. Our biggest concern is watching out for the blue mage, watching for the counterspell. That's where our biggest concern is, because an early counterspell on Xenagos, it could be a setback. All right, let's cut this. Let's see how we do here. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Standard hand. Oh, I like it already. All right, so yep, this is going to work pretty well. So even on our first turn, we're going Soul Ring with a couple dual lands. Our first draw is a forest. That's just fantastic. That's going to get us very going. We'll have Xenagos out minimally by turn 4. No, I'm sorry, by turn 3. I don't know where my math is here. Spire Garden into a Soul Ring, turn 1. Come back for turn 2. Draw. Now we have some protection with a Frozen Grip and a Beast Within. Drop down this land. So we could easily take something out early if we had to. Comes around to turn number 4. We'll drop down our forest. We're tapping 5. We're casting Xenagos. And when we come back for turn 6, we're drawing. We're dropping another land. We've got 6 mana available. We're putting down an Urabrask. There we go. Next turn comes in. We got a Cream of the Crop. That's going into play. And then the turn after that comes a Bramble Sovereign. And this is your Xenagos deck, folks. Again, thank you for clicking onto this video. Tell me in the comment section, do you have a Xenagos commander deck? And if so, is it any different than what I have? What advice could you give me? What cards do you think I could use to make this deck stronger? Thank you for watching. Go forth and enjoy your day.